Okay, I want to document how I made these little air core solenoids on the last one. They're very small and tightly wound, so it's not so easy because they have no core, obviously, so you have to get them off whatever you're winding them with. It's very tough for hobbyists to do that. So here's my process, and it works okay, I think. So what I do is, I'll talk about the jig in a second while it's drying, but first things first, I'll take one of these like muffin papers, and I'll fish the magnet wire through that, basically this way, and then I'll also fish the male end of the winding jig thing through as well, the other way. Come on, like that. And I'll put that on. It's not so hard, but the process has been tweaked over the last 10 solenoids, so I'll explain how it works. I'll take a little bit of masking tape, and I will just mask that down. I had a hole originally, you can see it there, that I was using just to fish the wire through, but it was getting braided away with when I was spinning, so this is a little bit better for now. I should be further from the middle, that was my dumb idea. Okay, so that's there, and now basically the idea is you push it as far as you can in, and I have like a shaft coupler thing here that I will just install. This connects like a motor to a shaft or two shafts together, and it has screws, like set screws, to attach to them. So this is the same idea. We're going to put it on and attach it in just to hold the axial position of everything. So have to get it in all the way, and then screw in whichever one is closest to the male piece there, because there's a little bit of give on these, and I don't want any increase in my thickness of my solenoid. Okay, then if you wanted, I guess you could cut this. I've had problems in the past, but I don't cut this, so you could just use paper, I think, for this purpose. It would be better. A round piece of paper, but okay, that's good. And then now I will start winding it. Everything is in place. I have to drop this wire around this tensioning peg. I'll talk about that in a second, but that's part of it. And now you start winding. I said the first couple of turns, don't be so tight about it. Be kind of loose. Okay, that's 10. I'll put you over here so you can watch the rest. This is 200 turns total, so just give me a few seconds here, and you can fast forward if you like. 20. 30. 40. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 20, 30, 40, 50, 160, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 200. Okay, now, before I take it off, I put a little bit of super glue in there. Don't get it on the plastic if you can avoid it. That'll just make it harder to get off. So I'll just drop some super glue in there. Give me a second, and while it's drying, I'll explain the rest. This is just to keep this overall diameter intact while I try to get it off. Keep winding a little bit to get around easily. Try to keep your face away from super glue because it makes like a little vapor gets in your eyes, in my experience. Okay. Then we'll get in there with some paper and we will just smear it around if I can. Just a little bit of axial smearing. Okay. And while that dries, I'll explain the jig. So, spool of magnet wire. This is 28 gauge on a peg, obviously to spin. This is a tensioning peg, so the wire goes down and back up. If you ever didn't have a sewing machine, you'll see that there's a lot more of these things, but this is good enough for this. Just to give it some more tension while we spin, so you spin away from that peg. That's the idea. I guess both ways are away from the peg if you think about it, but anyway, it just helps give some more tension in the wire when you're spinning. And then for the actual spool itself, there's two parts. There's a female part and a male part. Basically, if you made this female part thinner, the male part goes inside it. And so if you make this, thinner, then the solenoid gets thicker and thicker. So you want to look at, this is a 6 mil thick solenoid. If you want it to be 20 mil, you'd make this 20 mil smaller. And, or I guess 14 mil smaller. And then on the inside here, there's two just washers I had laying around, some plastic ones just for some test prints. And so they help get some motion on this side here in case this wants to spin a little bit, which it usually does. And then, yeah, we can take off the peg once this thing is dry. And yeah, we'll see what happens. This is usually where everything goes wrong. Whatever. So you can see, my first two I threw away, and then these ones were so bad, but they were usable, I guess. These three were good. These two had some problems, but I wouldn't basically. This is my first one, I guess my third one. This was my last one that I did. So this will be the last solenoid I need for my project. Just little weak solenoids just for some testing, but I'm curious to see how these things perform. Okay, so that should be dry by now. Now what I'll do first is I will unscrew the shaft coupler. Just a little half turn is all it takes to get it loose. Like that. Okay, that's coming off nicely. Okay, and then I will hold the wire while I snip. Otherwise it will a little bit unwind. Okay, and it came off nicely, surprisingly nicely. Okay, you can see that's how it looks. So I'm going to just glue quickly what I can access here. See, it's coming apart a little bit, but that's okay for my purposes. The problem with super glue is now your hands are a perfect adherent, and copper also is super conductive, so I'm burning right now. 12-degree burns for this stupid solenoid. Okay, now I'll do the back side. And you can glue the paper if you want. It's not critical. We'll just tear it off. So. Okay, while that dries, some of my burns start to callus over. Yeah, I mean, this works pretty good in my experience. The hard part now is getting this thing off, because it likes to. I really should have like a sacrificial piece that I could pull off, like a little washer on this side to help get it off in one piece. But the problem is I just don't right now, so it's not built for that thickness. I could probably do that next time. Have a little recess and pull that thing out would be nice. But for now, not the case. So let's see if I can get this thing off. This is going to be a challenge. Actually, let me glue this part as well. I'm going to stick to this stuff, unfortunately. Let me some more glue on this side. You can fast forward if this is too boring. I know it's boring. This is more for my record than anything else. Okay. Cool. Now that's kind of holding its position. Put the hot glue down for a second. Now it's about getting it off, which is not going to be an easy task. She's bent over like that. Okay. Remove the tape. Like that. And now comes the real difficulty. You can kind of twist this thing off in the beginning to get it a little bit off. The problem is it's so tight. Really, ideally you'd have a collapsible type manual. You could like shrink and then just pull it out. But I'm retarded, so I don't have that design. We'll see if this works. If this doesn't work, we'll be able to try that in the future, but we'll see. Okay, fold the paper up like this, and then we'll just twist. In the same way we twisted it on, we'll twist this one. So like this. And we've now broken the connection. Now you don't want to twist too much because it will wind up on itself inside and make it harder to pull off, like one of those like Chinese finger traps. So just break it a little bit and then just start prying it off nice and gently, or you'll lose the bottom of this thing, which is what's happened in the past too for me. Just take your time. No rush for the video. You guys can be patient cactuses for a minute or just fast forward. I'm not going to cut this out. I'm too lazy myself. So, oops, we are having a little bit of an issue, but life is full of issues. This is where that little washer would be so nice. Just pop it off. Okay, now I can get my fingers beneath it. If I had little drill fingers, it would be easier. Okay, and okay, we're off. That's the hard part done. Now what I would say is if you can even get in there with some more glue before the whole thing falls apart, maybe you should do that. Let's do that without burning ourselves. The inside is air core, so you can put as much glue in there as you want. Well, that's not really air core, it's more like a glue core, but who cares? Just to hold the shape on the inside. And then we'll just tear the paper off at the end and we'll glue it in. Okay, put that down. Just squeeze this a little bit. Back into shape. Okay, that turned out not so bad. Not so bad, surprisingly. And make sure, I should say, when you make these things while this thing dries, have a little bit of excess on the ends. Obviously, that would help a lot. Okay, now we peel with our super glue fingers. Yeah, oh man, this is bad. Need some of that Goo Gone stuff. There's the last little piece that could go wrong. Come on off, my friend. Okay, we're off. That's the solenoid, a little bit messy, but so is my room, so that's fine. Now we'll put it in its little slot and we'll glue it in. That's the last step. Come on. So these things are 90 degrees off. We'll just drop our little friend in there. Right here, like that. Just squeeze it in. Put a little bit too much glue on that one, but give it some friction. Okay, got the wires in. That's actually one of the best ones I did so far, so I'm surprised I caught that on video. I'll just cover it in glue. Fill the middle with glue. You could use epoxy for this, but that takes forever, so I've tried that in the past. It just takes forever to set that up, and these things aren't closed off. I have to tape them. It would be just a nightmare. And then I cover, because it likes to contract when it cools, obviously, so I put a little bit more on the top, otherwise it sucks in, so yeah, just like that. And when that dries, you'll have another nice little solenoid there. So that worked pretty well. Again, yeah, this jig is pretty simple to put together, so give it a try. Good luck. See ya.